Hear the rounds rattling?
So I just wanted to take a second and demonstrate to everyone how difficult it is to insert a fully loaded magazine into the gun with the slide closed. Doesn't really seem to matter whether you're using ball or hollow points. It's extremely difficult. You can't just insert the gun normally like you would on any other gun. You have to apply a lot of force to finally get it to click into place. You can rack one into the chamber with the slide closed on a full mag. However, it's extremely difficult. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it and see it on the camera, but it catches almost every time. But it is doable. So I wanted to take a minute and give everybody kind of an update on where we're at with my SIG P320 Xten experience. First off, thank you to everybody who commented and offered their tips or tricks or a piece of advice. I was surprised at how many people commented, so thank you for that. So I have got now just over 200 rounds through this gun, which I realize is not very many to be doing an update review. Time and money keep me from doing as much shooting as I would like. That's probably true with any gun. So, like I said, I've got just over 200 rounds through this gun. Haven't had a single hiccup. Most of what I've fired has been this Sauer and Bellet 180 grain ball ammunition. I've also fired some Federal American Eagle 180 grain, some CCI Blazer 200 grain, brass, and aluminum cased. But most of what I've fired has been this stuff right here, and out of all that range ammunition, haven't had a single hiccup. Now, like I said in the first video, I got this thing out and I threw some CLP on it before. I don't take guns right out of the box and just start firing. A lot of people do. I don't. If you aren't caught up, very briefly, in the first video, as I explained, got this from SIG. Mags were defective. Follower would hang up and not put tension on the rounds. I sent the gun back to SIG. That's what they had me do. They sent me 2 new mags. One of them was operating properly. The other one was not. Now they both seem to be operating the same. And I mean that by when I load range ammunition, at least all the range ammunition I just explained, I just told you guys about, I don't have a single issue loading or firing these mags. They operate flawlessly. It's when I start loading the jacketed hollow points and the defensive rounds, that's when they start having hang-ups. Now, again, I mentioned time and money. I don't have the funding to go put 50, 200, however many rounds of the expensive, hollow points through it. I don't have that kind of money, and so therefore I don't do it. I don't know if they would fire it fine, but I do know that the range ammunition doesn't hang up in the mags, and the defensive rounds do. And I'll show you guys some clips here in just a sec of me loading each individual type of ammunition, and you'll see the difference is very drastic. Here's a mag fully loaded with, I have no idea if I'm saying this right, Sauer and Bellet 10mm, and this is 180 grain. No problems out of this whatsoever. This is most of what I've shot. So you'll see it's holding tension, no issues. Still have good tension. All 15 rounds, no problem whatsoever. Here's a magazine fully loaded with 15 rounds of 6 Sauer, the V Crown jacketed hollow point. These are 180 grain, 10mm. As you'll see, if you watch the first video, 1 round out, here we go. Got the rattle. Okay. And they just dump right out. Usually you can get a smack to get them back. Nope, gonna make me do what I did the last video. Give it a tap, and looky there. So now we've got this. That's how they came up. Okay, that's obviously a problem. We'll turn them, and last few come out fine. Here are 15 rounds of this Federal HST. These are 200 grain. Caught up on its own that time, and the rest come out. So as you saw there, no issues out of the S&B range ammunition. All kinds of the exact same issues with the hollow points, SIG and Federal alike. One of them is 180, the other one's 200, but same issue. A lot of you had commented and said it's probably the overall length of the round, and I'm starting to believe that. Somebody had mentioned taking the magazines apart and sanding down or shaving off a little bit of the sides on the followers. I haven't done that yet. I haven't decided what I'm going to do as far as that route. Somebody else had mentioned they had the exact same issue with 320 mags and 45 ACP, and they said just keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. Eventually they'll break in. I'm not happy with that. I still don't think a quality mag should do that. Somebody had basically said in the comments, you're an idiot for posting this video without firing the gun. But I mean, I stand by what I said. I hadn't fired the gun in the first video, and the mag shouldn't do that. Whether you fired it or not fired it, the mag should not hang up like they do. So I still don't know what I'm gonna do. We've got just over 200 rounds of the ball ammunition through it, no issues. What I should probably do is fire some of these hollow points through to make sure, but the way I'm kind of feeling, the ball ammunition, the range ammunition loads just fine and shoots just fine. The jacketed hollow points do not load properly or run through the magazine properly, leading me to believe that they're not going to feed properly. Now, another thing worth displaying here, these range rounds, these S&B 10mm range rounds, you can almost load the entire magazine with just your fingers. I am spoiled. I received this a couple years ago, and if you don't have one, you need to get them. They're amazing, these Up-Lulas. So I've just gotten into a habit of using these no matter what magazine I'm loading. But I wanted to make a note and say that you can load these rounds into the magazine by hand with almost no problem. But I want to show you what happens when you load the Federal HST. The SIG performs the same way. The SIG V-Crown ammunition performs the same way. Once you start loading and you get to about 6 rounds or so, you'll notice almost like a pop in the magazine from the spring, where you have to apply a lot more force to get the rounds in there. We may be close. No. There. So it's like the spring is fighting it. Again, a lot of you mentioned the overall length and the size of the cartridge, of the casings, and that very well may be correct, because again, you put these in and you'll notice almost a click or a pop, and you have to apply a lot more force whenever you load these defensive rounds. And here we have the rattle again. I won't load the whole magazine. You guys have seen it 3 or 4 times now, but this is what we get. So I want to thank everybody for the likes and the comments and the tips and the advice. Really appreciate it. Said it before, I'm not a big YouTuber. I don't make a lot of videos. I didn't edit these out to look super flashy or fancy or anything. The video's purpose was to hopefully help somebody who was on the fence about purchasing one of these, and get input and feedback from folks who had already purchased one in regards to fixing the problem. So I appreciate it. Like I said, I wish everybody the best of luck on their SIG endeavors and shooting endeavors, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.